It absolutely is a good news story. I think that this was ILF was reopened as one of the Feely recommendations from the Independent Review of Social Care in Scotland, and there was a strong campaign from disabled people's organisations for the reopening of ILF. When ILF closed in 2010, there were fierce campaigns to try and keep it open UK-wide, but it's only open currently in Scotland and in Northern Ireland, where we also work with colleagues over the water who we work closely with too. It's not open over there yet. The Northern Ireland Government is considering the proposal, and we're hoping to hear in the near future. The good news about the reopening for ILF is that each local authority has been allocated a set number from that 1,000. And the idea was to make sure we shared access geographically and based on a combination of disability, poverty, making sure that that was an appropriate allocation. So we have those numbers. We can speak to anybody who is interested in that in the local area. The ILF Leeds network has been a key group in working with ILF. It's a Social Work Scotland subgroup, and it's very, very useful for you in having questions answered and in being able to raise any difficulties or actually things that you would like to see changed with ILF, because ILF is co-produced with all our stakeholders, including the fact that we are ran by a board of folk, most of whom identify as disabled, and our stakeholder groups who are folk using the fund, who have direct input into our policy and operational practice. So your feedback too from the front line in social work is absolutely vital, because we understand how busy that is. We do. Within ILF, our assessor teams are all former care managers in adult social care, either social workers or OTs. So we understand what your priorities are, and ILF traditionally, if you know of the current folk who have ILF, it's a review every 2 years, and we are still working through that cycle for the 2,000 folk who still have ILF. New applications in place. We will want you to make that application. We will then get in touch and be out to visit, and then thereafter get an award in place. It's currently taken around 10 weeks from application to payment, but we are hoping to get that cut by at least 2 or 3 weeks going forward. So that's a good news story, that folk will have that additional money in their pocket for them to use as they choose to purchase additional support or in other ways to meet their independent living outcomes. So that's the background and the current situation. I'm going to be ably assisted by a couple of ILF colleagues, social work managers Sandra Sweeney and Jill Fotheringham, as we go through the rest of the agenda. Back to you, Donna.